Airbnb is down 34% since its peak a couple of months ago. What has happened? What to expect for Q2 earnings? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about everything about Airbnb, why it has been dropping, what analysts have said recently, expectations for Q2, price targets, and more. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and smashing that like button since it really helps the channel out. Also, I have a completely free Discord group chat, which the link for that is down in the description below. Now, Airbnb does not need any type of introduction, as I assume all of you already know what they do. I have been an Airbnb customer since 2015 and have never had any bad experience with them. Even though I love what they do or let us do when traveling, as they let us leave the real culture of places by being able to stay in urban areas instead of hotels in tourist areas, and are also disrupting and reinventing the travel industry, I have to say that I love their business as well. Many of you know that I like to invest in disruptive companies, and that is why I invest in companies like Square, Lemonade, or Shift, for example, and I think Airbnb is doing an excellent job disrupting and innovating or reinventing a complete industry. And it obviously looks even more attractive now that the world is opening back up after the pandemic or during the pandemic, even though we do have to mention the risk of lockdowns back again because of the new COVID variants. But still, even though many see Airbnb as a complete recovery stock like airlines or cruises, I believe Airbnb is more than that, as people are now living on Airbnbs, not only traveling to Airbnbs. That is why 24% of their nights booked in Q1 were not for traditional travel, but for long-term stays, which is when they stay for over 28 days or more. We might think it is because of the pandemic, people being able to work from home and feeling the need to get out of the house, or simply start living 3 months here, 3 months there, and more, as now many jobs or companies are permitting you or employees to not go to the office. The question is if that is going to stay flat or increase in Q2. That is an important point to check out right away after they report earnings. Quick summary: last quarter they saw a 13% growth of nights and experience booked. Gross booking value was $10.3 billion, which is 52% growth year over year. Revenue of $887 million, which is a 5% growth year over year, which obviously when we see such a disruptive company, an innovative company reporting a revenue growth of only 5%, is kind of concerning, as we would expect a higher growth, but we need to take into consideration something very important. The pandemic has not affected the US that much in Q1 last year, 2020, but started very hard in Q2. So seeing Airbnb grow 5% during the pandemic right now, surpassing pre-COVID levels, is actually incredible, since it demonstrates their business is rebounding nicely and way better than airlines and hotels, for example. But Airbnb is a company that was growing at a rate of between 30 to 40% year over year before the pandemic. So this is another point we gotta see right away on their Q2 earnings. I expect nice revenue growth in Q2, as it was when the pandemic affected us the most, but I do not expect them to be profitable yet, but they are definitely very well positioned for the post-COVID economy. Better like none other, in my opinion. Now, doing some research about this company for this video, I found a very interesting article that talks about 4 catalysts that will drive growth for years for Airbnb. The first driver catalyst according to them is the post-COVID travel recovery. In here they talk about vaccines, and as more and more people get vaccinated, it will help the traveling industry, which will benefit Airbnb, as many will prefer to stay at a house or at a private apartment instead of a hotel room because of social distancing and all that, which I have always said that Airbnb benefited from that, as even my family have preferred to stay at an Airbnb instead of hotels, even if the hotel is including a breakfast, because it is way more comfortable and gives you the sensation of being secured at home, and even more if people are going to stay for several nights. Catalyst number 2 in this article is a continuation of international expansion, as they will be able to expand into population dense emerging economies, including new markets such as Latin America or India, for example. Catalyst number 3 is the increased prominence of telecommuting, which is basically what I said at the beginning. We will likely see telecommuting become more prominent, allowing employees to travel while working, and that is why Airbnb saw an increase of people living on Airbnbs. Catalyst number 4 is Airbnb experiences, which is when travelers can purchase experiences, services, and activities that hosts provide with bookings. Right now, it is available in roughly 1,000 cities, and even though they have a lot of Airbnbs listed in roughly 100,000 cities globally, that is a nice market opportunity growth. Now, analysts have been updating their price targets for Airbnb, which is why Airbnb has a price target of between $125 to $220 per share. Well, we also see that others mentioned that Airbnb is 33.1% overvalued, as its fair value is actually $104 per share. But let's talk a little bit about this. I know that if we compare Airbnb with their competitors, and I do this because I believe Airbnb's competitors are nowhere near to do what Airbnb is doing. If we compare it with Bookings is trading with a market cap of $90.7 billion, with a forward PE of 23.88 and a price to sales ratio of 16.07. Then, if we take a look at Expedia, it has a market cap of $23.6 billion, a forward PE of 25.28, and a price to sales ratio of 5.59. While Airbnb has a market cap of $85 billion, no trailing nor forward PE, as they are not planning on being profitable next year, and a price to sales ratio of 25.02. As you can see, they are almost the same size as Booking, but still is the one with the highest valuation between the three of them. Then if we see Wynn Resorts, it has a market cap of $12 billion, a forward PE of 74, but a price to sales ratio of only 6.44. The thing is that Airbnb is a difficult stock to evaluate right now because people compare it with other hospitality stocks, as I just did. The thing is that I believe that this scalability of Airbnb's platform is another level. It is a more innovative and attractive platform. Even their name is already a verb for many because of their brand awareness, which obviously is a huge factor for their growth. Because of all that I just said is why many people just look past valuations and focus on the potential that the company has. Airbnb right now is bigger and better than ever before, and I think they will continue seeing a nice revenue growth. Right now, I do not invest in this company, in Airbnb, but as I have said before, I have been keeping track of it since they went public, and actually have almost bought in many times, but I haven't yet. I do understand why many say it is an overvalued company and it is not worth to look at, but we also have to think of the potential the company is offering long term, as I think they still have a lot of room to grow and expand, and even more now after the pandemic, because I don't know what you think, but I have seen how the pandemic has shown us and many people that we gotta live and enjoy life, even though that sounds cliche. And now I see more and more people traveling and more people eating outside and at restaurants than what I used to before the pandemic, which is why I think Airbnb still has a lot of potential. I believe people will continue traveling and will start traveling even more than before the pandemic, and Airbnb cruises and airlines could easily benefit from that, but definitely Airbnb in comparison to its competitors, or hotels. I do understand that we have the COVID Delta variant right now, and we are seeing COVID cases rising, and that could bring lockdowns back to many countries, maybe not in the US, but definitely Europe or Latin America, for example. We will see, and that will most likely affect the travel industry once again. But remember, I like to think long term, and this variant could definitely affect you if you are a short-term investor, so be careful with that. But in the long term, I don't think that will affect a lot of companies. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and smash that like button since it really helps the channel out. Also, remember about the completely free Discord group chat, which the link for that is down in the description below. I don't have any course or anything. The Discord is completely free. Thank you and see you next time.